you are a sensitive and emotional girl like myself, you will relate when I say that if I wake up on the wrong side of the bed, or if my feelings are a little bit too strong, I struggle to think straight or get anything done. I might as well kiss my dreams bye-bye in those moments and on those days, because when I'm feeling like that, everything just feels so daunting and overwhelming that I just naturally go back to my emotional coping mechanisms, such as comfort eating and things that basically are not going to get me to where I need to be. Now, this video is going to solve all of your problems, girlies, because this exact strategy is what I have been using to actually allow myself to get shit done and not give in to my emotions and my feelings and allow my emotions and my feelings to dictate my day. Because if we just continue to follow our feelings blindly and allow ourselves to resort back to our unhealthy coping mechanisms, we're never going to get anything done. So in this video, I am sharing with you my step-by-step blueprint of how you can achieve your dreams as a sensitive and emotional girly. Create non-negotiable baseline rules for yourself and for your life. These are the things that, come rain or shine, you are doing these things. It's a non-negotiable. You can't wiggle your way out of it. You can't negotiate. You can't make excuses. You've just got to do it. Now, in order for you to put yourself in a position where you cannot make any excuses, you need to make sure that these baseline rules are achievable and that you can do them on your worst days. You need to kind of make sure that they're things that are going to get you closer towards your goals, but they also need to be achievable. So I like to follow a little bit of a skeleton plan, or like a script. I don't know what the word is, but I like to follow these categories to make sure that I'm kind of staying on track and to make sure that I know that I am reaching my goals in some sort of capacity every single day. My 3 things, because we want to keep it super simple, we don't want to overcomplicate it: daily movement, daily mindset, and daily nourishment. So for movement, this could be, and this is something I harp on about all the time, but this could be just doing a 10-minute stretch. That could be your baseline. That's all you have to do, but you have to promise yourself and make it a rule that you are going to do this every single day. It needs to be specifically tailored to you and what you know that you can achieve. So 10-minute stretch, 10-minute walk around the block, or it could even be a 5-minute stretch, 5-minute yoga practice, something that is getting your body moving that you know that you can do on your worst day. Daily mindset could be as simple as listening to positive affirmations while you get ready for the day, or it could be to meditate for 5 minutes, it could be to read a self-development book for 5 minutes, and a daily nourishment rule could be something along the lines of you promise that you are going to drink at least a litre of water every single day. That is your rule, and you don't stray from that rule. Another daily nourishment rule that you could set for yourself is that you need to eat a high protein breakfast every single day, or you need to eat 1 piece of fruit and 1 piece of veg every single day. Just something that makes sense to you. Obviously, I'm just throwing shit at a wall here, but you just pick whatever fits for you. This whole process is so important for you to do, because as much as it might take that initial time investment to think about these things and really get clear on the things that you know that you can show up and do, it's going to be worth it in the long run, because when you are feeling like shit, like, you've got to put yourself in the position of you when you wake up and you're feeling absolutely like you're drowning in emotions. You have to think what is going to make your life easier in that moment. When you're feeling like shit and you're feeling overwhelmed and everything feels daunting, you don't want to look at a long list of all of these rules that you have to stick to in order to become the best version of yourself, because you're simply not going to do it. It's just going to add fuel to the fire and it's going to make you feel so much worse. But if you set yourself 1 non-negotiable rule in each of these areas of your life, you are going to go to bed at night knowing that you have gotten a little bit closer to your goals, even if it was in the tiniest way possible. Once these rules are established, they require little to no thought on a daily basis. They will become your subconscious way of living and you'll just do them naturally. You'll get to a point where you don't even need to look back at them, because you'll just know what you need to do on the days that you're feeling like shit, and they are going to really help in building your self-trust, your confidence in yourself, because you are consistently showing up for yourself every single day and you are sticking to the rules that you set yourself. I think a lot of us jump the gun and we want to do the most, but I think we have to scale it back and we have to think that when we're feeling all excited and we're watching all these videos and we want to plan the best life possible for ourselves, we want to work towards our goals, we have to take into consideration that we're excited in that moment, we're motivated in that moment, but that motivation isn't going to last. It's not going to be sustainable across the whole period of your life. So you have to prepare for the bad days as much as you prepare for the good ones and what you're going to do on the good days. This leads into my next point, which is to plan for every single scenario. Different seasons of your life require different energy levels and require a different version of you. So if you only set one morning routine, let's say, to stick to, and it's like get up at 5 a.m, do a workout, meditate, pray, eat a healthy breakfast, shower, get ready, journal. If you've got this huge long morning routine list that you need to do every single day, it is going to be so much easier for you when you wake up on a bad day to make excuses of why you shouldn't do that. Again, we need to think of every single scenario that we could possibly face in order to set ourselves up for success. When you are flowing with the seasons of your life, you are just a lot more in harmony with the universe and your life, and things just seem to flow a little bit easier than when you are constantly going against the grain, swimming upstream, and being resistant to how you're feeling. For example, working against the seasons of your life could look like when you've just woken up, you've just gotten your period, but you have decided that you still need to go to the gym and force that heavy leg day workout, because if you don't do it, you're going to feel like shit and you're going to feel really ashamed of yourself. But you know deep down that you don't actually have the energy levels for that. You don't want to spike your cortisol even more by lifting really heavy weights, but you do it anyway. It could be forcing yourself to continue working even though you've been sat at your desk for hours and you're not getting anything done because you're exhausted, and resisting to take a nap because you are dead set on making sure that you work all afternoon until you've got this project done, rather than resting and getting some sleep. Or it could be forcing yourself to wake up extremely early at 5 a.m. when you barely got any sleep, just because you know that you need to stick to your 5 a.m. morning routine, otherwise you know you're going to fall off track because you've missed a day. That is what working against the flow of your life looks like. Rather than doing that, and rather than using this brute force, just listening to your body and thinking, right, I am actually so fucking tired, or I am so hungry, why don't I just take a break away from my screen, take 10 minutes, take even 30 minutes, maybe have a nap, do whatever I need to do to give myself a bit more energy levels back, and then return back to this when I feel like I can do it. Or even if that means just calling it a day and then coming back to it in the morning, because I know I'll have better energy levels if I make sure I have a good night's sleep. So my point is that you need to prepare and you need to plan ahead for every scenario. So if you know that there are going to be days like when you're on your period where you have less energy, you need to take the time, the initial time investment, to sit down and write out different variations of morning routines that you can follow depending on what mood you're in. Now, I know this does seem like you are just giving into your emotions and not pushing yourself as much as possible, but I think it's important to get this baseline of consistency there first before we start thinking that we need to start pushing ourselves and doing the very most every single day. Like, it's baby steps here, okay? So we need to make sure that we maybe have, like, for example, I have a morning routine for low energy, for high energy. I also have morning routines for my office days, my working from home days, days when I'm on my period, days when I'm in my luteal phase, days when I'm fucking ovulating, because it seems like the majority of the month I feel like shit, but I digress. Just having loads of different routines that you know that you can look at on whatever day you're on, and you know that you can follow that, you know that you can be consistent in some kind of way. Doing that forward planning is going to take the thinking out of the moment, and it's going to allow you to just look at something, think, right, I'll just do that because this is how I'm feeling, and then you can do it, and then you feel great, you feel restored, you feel amazing because you're going with the flow of life. The third step is to identify your weaknesses and create so many obstacles around them. Now, this might take a little bit of self-observation over a course of a few weeks, just getting to know what your weaknesses actually are, because I think a lot of the time our weaknesses just go under the radar because it's our subconscious way of living. So we might not necessarily know what our weaknesses are. So take the time to just kind of observe yourself over the next few weeks. None of this has to be something that happens overnight, by the way. Like, this is all a gradual process. I think if you go into something thinking like, yeah, this is it, this is the time that I get my shit together, you are just gonna get disheartened when you eventually fall off and you feel like shit because you didn't stick to it yet again. We're not about that life over here. We are all about falling down and getting up and trying again. That's all we can do. And I think a lot of people don't mention this, but it is in those moments where you have to pick yourself back up again and try again that we actually learn from our mistakes. If we just did something one time and we did it perfect, we wouldn't really necessarily learn anything. We would just kind of do it. It would probably be something that we already know how to do and we're not growing. So we have to fail, we have to fall and get back up again as many times as you need to in order to eventually succeed in life and in order to eventually learn. So don't feel disheartened if this takes a little bit of time for you to get to know what your weaknesses are and a little bit of observation. That is completely fine and it's completely normal. But once you are aware of your weaknesses, then you can make a plan of how you are going to make it so difficult to fall back into those weaknesses. So let's say, for example, your weakness could be that you work from home and in the morning you think to yourself, right, I'm going to put Netflix on in the background because I like to have something on, something to listen to while I do my work, but then you know damn straight that you're probably just going to end up watching Netflix while you work. Or it could be that around 3 p.m. your energy levels start to drop and you feel like you've got no power to continue the rest of the working day. So you naturally lean towards having another cup of coffee, or you naturally lean towards having a sweet treat because everyone in the office is having a sweet treat. Now that's fine, but say if this doesn't align with your goals, you don't want to keep doing that. That is a weakness for you, let's say. So if you can identify where you slip up, then forward plan and put obstacles in place to make it harder, and maybe put things in place that makes it easier for you to choose an alternative, healthier option. That's also great, because I think sometimes when we have this urge to do something, we can't just not do it and then not do anything else. Like, we need to fill that void. So it's good to fill that with a healthy alternative. So an example for me is, I know full well after a lot of self-observation and self-awareness that if I start my Monday morning by going on my phone, replying to all my voice notes from my best friend, or going on my laptop and watching YouTube videos while I work in the background because I want to get motivated from other people, I know that that sets my week off to a bad tone, and I know that it kind of starts my week with this energy of complacency and laziness, and that's not what I want. So because I've identified this, the past month, I would say, I have really worked towards not doing that and avoiding my phone completely, avoiding social media at all costs at the beginning of the week when I know I have lots to do. And instead of that, I will put on some lo-fi beats. I've got it on right now on my little TV here. No sound because obviously I'm filming, but I've got like a nice little coffee shop and it's in Brooklyn, and it was playing like jazz music and it's just beautiful. I love it, and it gets me so in flow and it makes me so productive when I just have some background noise in the background, but not something that's someone talking and someone like saying all these different things. I think at the beginning of the week, I need to make sure that my mind is clear and I need to make sure that I am focused on what I am doing personally. But that is just one way that I have identified a weakness and I've put something in its place in order to stop me from falling back into that weakness. And obviously another way is to give yourself an obstacle. So that could be, say if you know that you want that sweet treat in the afternoon, you're working from home, just making sure that you've not got any sweet treats in your home. Because if you're working, you're not going to be going out to the shop because you're working, and you'll probably lean towards having an apple or some fruit or something like that, and making sure that you have like maybe a different snack that you could have, a healthier snack that isn't chocolate or isn't a cup of tea and biscuits. I feel like I'm projecting right now. These are all the things that I have experienced in my life. But anyway, knowing your weaknesses and your blind spots puts you in a position of power, because you can navigate your day knowing what your downfalls are and knowing how you are not going to slip back into that again, and you are going to actually make better decisions for yourself. And the fourth step of this video is to have 2 to 5 rotation meals that you can go to every day. The concept of having rotation meals has saved my life. It's really helped me so much because it kind of takes the thinking and the overwhelm out of meal prepping and planning and all that kind of shit. It's still overwhelming for me as a sensitive girl. Like, I get overwhelmed by fucking everything, but when I have my rotation meals, I know what they are in my head. When I know what they are, it makes it so much easier for me to think, right, I'll just make this tonight, or I'll make this tonight, because it's just easy. Whereas if you're just going by the TikToks that you're seeing of all the extravagant recipes that you want to recreate, and you're going off that, and then you're collecting all these different recipes that you want to make, but then when it actually comes down to it, there's a lot of thinking that goes into it, and then you've got to think how you're going to make it, and you've got to go to the shop and buy the things. Like, it's all very overwhelming. I don't know if you can tell, but I hate recipes. Like, I really hate recipes so much. It really overwhelms me. Like, I don't hate recipes, but I would rather just know how to cook something rather than following a recipe. Like, it stresses me out. So having those healthy rotation meals is a game changer. And also having at least one healthy comfort meal that you can go to whenever you're feeling like you want to comfort eat, or you're wanting to eat like some chocolate or biscuits or whatever. Having like one dessert that's healthier, or just something like that, something that's gonna tide you over and it's going to satisfy those comfort eating cravings. It's good to have at least one recipe for that. Now I will give you my rotation recipes because I'm nice like that. So I also like to meal prep salad. So at the beginning of the week, I will meal prep like a big Greek salad. I saw Alicia Gogan did this and I was like, oh my God, slay. So I decided that I would do that too. And I have Greek salad with almost everything. It's also a good idea to just meal prep like a load of protein. So season some chicken, cook it all on a Sunday, and then put it in the fridge. And then you can just grab a piece of chicken whenever you want some protein, or get in some minced meat and then get in like a little chili con carne seasoning packet, putting that on, cooking it, whatever, just having that in your fridge. And I know people say don't use seasoning sachets, like season it yourself because it's got so much sodium in, blah 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 blah. I don't want to hear it. I simply don't want to hear it. It pisses me off because it's overwhelming enough as it is to cook and be healthy. And I think when you are hyperfixating and you're getting so obsessed with the tiny little details of like what fucking oils you need to use and what seasoning sachets you can use, it just gets a lot. And then what ends up happening is that you're so overwhelmed that you'll probably just go to McDonald's anyway and get a McDonald's, like, or a KFC, or something that's not healthy and it's absolutely saturated with these fucking seed oils or vegetable oils or whatever we're told to avoid anyway. So I think just not getting worked up over those tiny little details and just doing the best that you can do is your best bet. Because if you're listening to these people on social media, they will literally confuse the fuck out of you and they will make you feel like life is so difficult and so hard and you won't know what's right from what's wrong. Like, it's just so overwhelming. Just keep it so simple. Just making sure that you're having a substantial amount of protein, meats, lentils, whatever the fuck, a substantial amount of vegetables, salads, whatever, and some carbs and some fats. Like, just keeping it so simple. I've probably explained that in the most complicated way possible, but that's kind of what I'm like. Like, I feel like my brain works in a very strange way when it comes to meals, but that is just something that has helped me so much, having rotation meals and meal prepping, forward planning, so that when it comes to the day, it's just easier for me to go for the healthier option than it is for me to go to McDonald's and get a cheeseburger and chicken nuggets and fries. If you feel like you've been in a little bit of a rut recently and you feel like it's been really hard to keep on track of your goals in general, you will really like the last video that I did, which I will link somewhere on the screen. So feel free to check that out if this video resonated with you and you feel like that is going to resonate with you too. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you are all okay. Let me know what your plans are, what your goals are, what you are wanting to do with your life and how you're going to do it. And yeah, I love you guys so much and I hope you have an amazing week. Bye!